We are recording now. So, yeah, I guess that won't be relevant to today. But for yesterday, you can see me kind of, you know, record like swaying and then also I'm using that time and the assistance of the energetics of the music to set the space and clear the field. But yeah, but you couldn't hear it on day one, I think. So that's what I was doing. But we are here today. It is so, my heart just swelled um, when I saw everyone here, when I saw all your names on the screen, when I saw it pop up. I felt so excited and just so much love and so much immense gratitude for all of you for choosing to be here. It's your energy in this space that like makes this amazing, you know? It's your energy and just your choice and your willingness to show up here and participate and contribute your energy is it's extremely felt by me. And like I need you to know that. Okay. I just feel so much love and so much gratitude for you. Yes, the song is called Allowing by Alexia Chelin. There's someone on the call actually who's a very dear friend of mine who turned me on to Alexia Chelin. She uses hertz frequencies in her music. It's extremely high vibrational music, and I very, very much recommend all of her work. Music is such an incredible tool, by the way, to connect to all kinds of energies. It can be used as a tool to distort, but we get to use it as a tool to create, as a tool to align, right? And sound, obviously, for me, is that's my home language as far as frequency. There's different things, right? But they're different forms of the same thing. Sound, light. Sound is light. Sound is incredibly powerful. Sound is frequency, and frequency is everything. Okay? So just a note on music and the power of sound, right? Yeah, the impact. And there's impact in music, there's impact in literally everything that you're choosing on a day-to-day basis that you're choosing to consume. This is important for your connection with your essence. Okay? Because many of you are going to be choosing a lot of the time unconsciously things that are very disresonant with your essence because these are things that are readily available around you, right? And it's okay, you know, but it's just to become mindful of that. What am I choosing that's disresonant with my essence and with the truth of my being? This can be as simple as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, what you're following, your music choices, what you're putting in your system, what foods you're choosing, right? What environments you're choosing. And then it goes all the way into what relationships you're choosing and like all the things, right? But starting small is a really great way to practice, right? Starting with music would be a great choice. Is this resonant or disresonant with the truth of my being? Is this supportive or unsupportive with the embodiment of my true essence and the way that I want to feel and operate? Does this disconnect me from the truth of my being, or does this reconnect me to the truth of my being? Right? And it's not necessarily to cast judgment or condemnation, it's just to become aware and to become aware that you have a choice. You have a choice to nurture and nourish, you know, that connection and therefore expression of the true essence of you, which is love, which is truth, and which is your own unique, prism that those energies flow through and express through, or not, right? Obsessed with music, writing, singing, listening is so powerful. It is so, so powerful. And I know many of you on this call utilize music already and that you utilize sound and the voice in very powerful ways. And that's really beautiful. Yeah. So, how are you guys feeling after yesterday? I want to check in. How's everybody feeling? I don't know if you can feel, but the field is a little lighter today. And that's generally the case, like, because a lot of times in the beginning, it's like we're working with a lot of deep clearing, right? So there's a lot of that stuff kind of active in the field. And then a lot of times it gets a little bit lighter. But if you are not feeling light, that's also okay. I'm just really curious to hear how things are settling. Everyone has a different process with this. Much lighter and calmer. Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Feels like a lot was moved from my solar plexus. We did a lot of solar plexus work. More energized. Beautiful. Slept very good last night. Love it. Love to hear it. Feeling very connected, grateful, and creative this morning. I love it. I feel similarly. Still feeling heavy. Thank you. And that is a-okay. We will, I'm sure, be doing some more clearing today as well. Feel something in my pain body right now, but I definitely did feel great following. Beautiful, beautiful. I feel really sensitive emotionally today. Uh, 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 but much calmer, had a lot of tension, anticipation yesterday morning. That makes sense. I want to just a note about the pain body. Some of you are extremely sensitive and extremely empathic, and we are always working, right, on energetic boundaries. I'm always working on energetic boundaries. If you need help with your energetic boundaries, I have containers where we work on that together because that's a multi-layered thing. It's not just about doing the energy practices to clear the field and everything like that. Sometimes there's deeper work that people need to do around why it is that we don't feel safe, or unconsciously we kind of go into this mode where we don't hold our own space in collective fields, or where we take on a lot of stuff, and like this is important to the conversation that we're having, right? And it's interesting to notice where we might be doing that in spaces like this, especially if you're a healer and your energy system is designed that way, and you're a crystal aura like me, or like the person who wrote this. You have a very absorbent aura. Just to check in, is this my pain body? And of course, at the highest level, it's like there is no my pain body or your pain body. There's just pain body, you know? But it's also like understanding that we can have choices in moments of whether or not to move certain things through our system, right? And becoming masterful at discerning that and choosing, right? And again, sometimes deeper work is required for that. Okay, just wanted to make sure to do a note with that. Finished the replay activation 15 minutes ago. Feels so much lighter. Yeah, you're just going in. We're gonna back to back it. Lighter today, and also contractions with some people around me. It's like we're more and more in parallel realities. Did a group activation right before this and manifested clients. Oh, yes. Love to hear that. But I also really hear you sometimes, when we do work like this and when we make the commitment to devote ourselves to living from our essence, we may feel dysresonance that increases with our environment and with the people around us, right? And that's just kind of part of it. But what I want to say about that is that that doesn't always have to be a forever discomfort. Sometimes that's temporary, depending on the dynamic. Sometimes there are dynamics where we might vibrate out of connection with individuals or spaces. Sometimes it's that the individuals or spaces or whatever the things are actually rise to meet us. And the tricky part and the tough part is that we don't always know what that is, but sometimes there's a period of adjustment, right? I actually just went through this because I went to an event with a mentor of mine and I received profound energetic upgrades, had a lot of deep release. Like it was huge for me on my soul path, just huge, right? So, of course, I come home and my frequency is different. And I was telling somebody else on the call actually, it feels sometimes a little bit like, the plane has a bumpy landing where it's like, da-doom, 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 you know? And that was a bit of the way that it felt. And you're just like, oh, like, and this has happened with Raw many times because, you know, a lot of times there'll be one person who's kind of the maybe energetic or spiritual kind of like leader or catalyst inside of the relationship. And oftentimes that's the feminine essence inside of the relationship. It's not necessarily the feminine gender or embodiment, like physically inside of the relationship, but like you get what I'm saying, the energy. Not always. But anyway, and then there's like, the masculine is like, I gotta adjust. Whoa, what's happening? And my experience has been that with Raw, every single time that this has ever happened in our relationship, and it's happened over and over again in like over like 8 years, he does adjust. He can click in, he adapts because his soul really desires expansion, and his path and what he wants and what he wants to choose and what he will always choose is to get closer and closer to his authentic soul essence and his purpose and his path and his mission. And that's why we're a great match, right? So these are the types of people, you guys, that you're going to want to be connecting with, right? People who value over anything else being connected to themselves and their highest expression, their truth, their essence, their path. Which, by the way, like it's different when I'm talking about the essence and then I'm talking about the path or the purpose or the mission. Well, the purpose is really kind of connected, but it's like all of that stuff, the doing, the action, the direction that it goes in, the form that it takes is secondary to the essence. The essence comes first. Make sense? Just want to be really clear about that. And then the path, the steps along the path become clear. But the connection to the essence always comes first. Always, if we're disconnected from that, we don't have, our ship is without a rudder, we are without a compass, we don't know which one end is up. You see what I mean? That is like step one. And in fact, it's really like the only step, in my opinion, that matters. Okay. Chill today. Yesterday, I felt like I was not able to focus with the session that much and fell asleep a bit. That's probably exactly what you needed. Hope this doesn't affect receiving. No, typically, if you guys fall asleep, um, it's just because that's what your system needs in order to receive it best. But when that happens, you can always go back and listen. And I do recommend that because sometimes things are said that you do need to hear. But if you go back and listen and you keep falling asleep, it might actually be that you don't need to hear what I'm saying, or it would not be beneficial for you to hear what I'm saying. That's funny. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Better sleep. Body needs a deep stretch session today after listening to the powerful activation. After stretching much more, was able to be moved and cleared. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And this is like such a great example of following your guidance to do what's needed for integration. And the person who wrote this comment, like she knows this. We spent a lot of time on this, together, and this is what I teach all of the people whom I work with, on a closer level, and what we kind of go into in programs like Conduit. But it's such a beautiful example. It's like, okay, what do I need after that? You know what I mean? Like, what does my body need? What does the energy require? I might need more rest, right? I might need more water. I might need to go outside and ground. I might need to release more. I might need to make more sounds. I might need to emote. I might need space. I might need connection. I might need to stretch. I might need to dance. So just really being connected to what that is for you, I think is extremely important when it comes to the integration process. I feel there's many items, clothings, and behaviors I've had that doesn't resonate anymore. Yeah, and it's such a fun practice actually. You can go through a lot of those things and kind of ask if you wanted to, and not to overwhelm anyone if this doesn't resonate or if you don't have space to do it, but it's kind of like, that Marie Kondo thing of like, does it spark joy? It's like, is this does this express my essence? Does this take me closer to my essence, or does this disconnect me from my essence? Right? Is this resonant? Is this resonant with what I'm choosing? Is this resonant with what's true for me? Is this resonant with the energy that I now want to be in? Is this resonant with the life I want to create? Is this resonant with who I am truly? Is this resonant with who I am becoming? Because we have tools and we have all these choices. And those smaller things do matter. They matter a lot. It matters what I choose to wear when I'm on camera. It matters the crystals I choose to keep around me. And guess what? It's my choice. That's the beautiful thing. It's my choice to live a life and create a life that reflects me and my highest expression. Yeah, really resonating with what struggling to take up our own space within a collective field. Well, maybe that will come through in the activation today and we'll work on that. Yesterday was a little rough, lots of tears and crunchy conversations with my partner, but feels so much lighter today. Oh, I love to hear that. But I'm sorry that it was a bit crunchy. Did clearing for my partner after the activation, and I felt much more grounded and sure in my medicine. Ooh, I love that. That's such a huge piece of my purpose, to help people trust their magic and medicine and activate that capacity within people to just trust that, to trust their channel, to trust their knowing, to trust their gifts, because that all comes from your multidimensional essence. And we're going to talk a little bit more today about your uniqueness, your gifts, and your multidimensionality today. Yes, celebrating raw and the masculine, ready to expand. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And for those of you who haven't found that yet, it's out there. So we need a partner who has the same soul purpose, or not the same soul purpose as far as like if you're talking about like mission, but like I would say like values and trajectory, there needs to be a foundational alignment there. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to work if there's not a foundational alignment as far as like those core values, right? Certain things, in terms of like your path can totally be different, like, and your expression. I mean, you're going to have a different soul essence, you're going to have a different journey, you're going to have maybe different teachers, different catalysts, you're going to have different paths, and you're going to bring different things to the table, and you're going to, but if you, for example, don't both have a priority of soul growth, like one of you does and one of you doesn't, like, no, that's not going to work. Okay, some little things bothered me and I held it and forgot what it was. So I think that's what it is today. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful awareness. And I'm going to just reflect to you personally. And I think a lot of you guys probably need to hear this. You already know what it is. Like, you literally just need to ask yourself. But the issue is, and I do this too, I'm learning not to do this. I've learned not to do this over time, and on deeper and deeper levels, I'm learning not to do this. But we outsource so much. Whether it is like to, a teacher or a YouTube video or a friend or a partner or a spirit guide or God that we perceive as out here, the universe that we perceive as out here, which, yes, does communicate to us externally, but we've got to get that that's actually just us. And it's that it's like you already fucking have it, like, but we're not trained and conditioned, unfortunately, most of us. We've lost the capacity because of this programming that we carry and that we've endured over so many years to self-reference in that way and to trust that voice inside that's like, this is actually what it is, right? And so instead we have all of these thoughts and all of this shit that comes in that's like, well, maybe it's this and maybe it's really this and like maybe it's that and like you don't actually know and like maybe you're just fucked up and weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know if your guys' internal world sounds like that. That might just be me. That was mine that I'm expressing, by the way. Maybe you're just fucked up and weird. Why would you have that thought? Like, maybe it's this thing that this person talked about, and maybe I'm doing that. And do I need to worry about this? Do I need to fix this? I need help. I need someone to tell me what's going on. Except I don't. Not usually. Because my soul always knows. And so when I'm connected to that, I always know. And I cannot describe to you the peace that can come from that, the peace that does come from that. And so this is trusting the knowing, and also, yes, trusting the gifts, trusting those things that come through that are so natural for you that you might judge as weird, or you might say, I don't know how to do this. Yes, you do. And there are certain foundational tools and foundational things when we're working with energy that, like, you can learn, when we're working with gifts that will help you to hone and to refine and to understand deeper and to wield with greater precision and power. But that doesn't mean that someone else needs to show you how to do it because you don't know. Do you see the difference there? And so this is what my program Conduit is actually about. I wasn't planning to talk about it right now, but Conduit is the space to refine that medicine that's coming through you, but do it in a way that is like deeply reverent to and honoring of like the distinct brilliance and profound knowing of your soul. It is an allowing, like the song in the beginning, not a becoming. It is an opening to being able to hold and direct the energy that's coming through you, that is an expression of you. It is an allowing of your essence, your purpose, your mission, your gifts to flow through in full power, in whatever form they are meant to take for you. This is why, like, it's different what I do, and I do this in one-on-ones as well, but what I do is different in many ways than other kind of like modality creation programs or like, you know, coaching containers that I've seen out there, because there's a lot of like, oh, this is what you do, and like this is your medicine and this is how it functions. And then people feel relief because someone else is telling me. But I'm not a fan of that way. I don't do things that way. I don't do things that way in my containers of any kind, because I think it's much more powerful to be reverent of like your process of homecoming to your power, your gifts, your medicine. I think it's better to honor you. And I will always, always, always honor your fucking power. And that might trigger you sometimes. Some people are like, we love it. Most people. But you know, it also can trigger sometimes. I'm going to share a little bit more about conduit and mentorship and stuff at the end, but that was just coming through to share, because it's also that's a taste of the frequency. Okay. Yeah, 100% people who choose to reacclimate over and over again to new frequency altitudes. Love the way you put that. Feels very good to hear essence first, then the way. Exactly. And so that's all you have to do. That's what I'm trying to say. This whole 2 days is about like, that's it. That's the thing. That's all you have to do. You don't have to figure it out. You just come back to that. You just focus on that. Wow. Okay. So Marie Kondo, there's some syncs about that. Some people have been hearing about that. Well, I guess it makes sense, right? We're in Virgo season. We're in a Virgo full moon. It's like all the shit that this is the precision of like the things in life that aren't aligned, we clear them out. And there's a beautiful thing about that in Virgo energy, you know. I have my moon in sixth house, and so it's like that there is something about that that feels extremely good to me. And you know, when we're talking about energy, like this type of a thing might be beneficial for you, and you get to do it, not only with your physical environment, you get to do it on so many levels. Does this thought spark joy? Does this music spark joy? Does this food spark joy? It's a brilliant thing. I mean, that's an example of a woman who is living her purpose and mission. Like, I'm just telling you. That's why she's so successful. She was put on this planet to do that. She must be a Virgo. Like, she must have, or like have really strong Virgo placements. I don't know. I've been feeling more disresonance with being at my parents' house again. Yeah, I really feel you there. Thank you for sharing that. Does that truly exist for everyone? If it's a desire of your soul, then yes. I assume you're talking about the partnership piece. If it's a desire of your soul, then yes. If it's a true desire of your soul, then it exists for you. Period. End of story. Okay. Yeah. The struggle is real for those with an open head, the open head center in human design. Highly recommend, by the way. And I love these systems. Astrology, human design has been incredibly supportive for me in understanding how I function. And it is a tool, right? These are tools to reconnect with our essence and live from that place. They're beautiful tools. Um, some of you know I say this frequently, but one of my favorite quotes is from Ani DeFranco, whom I love. But it's every tool is a weapon if you hold it right. So this is always my, what is the word? Disclaimer when talking about really any modality. Like modalities can be so incredibly beneficial. And notice where you might be utilizing it in a way that's keeping you in a cage rather than expanding you, or that's causing your patterns are hooking into it rather than it being a tool for liberation. Okay. But yes, I freaking love human design. It's changed my life. It is continues to change my life. Some patterns of being overlooked and unappreciated have stuck basically in a couple situations. Yeah, that's really painful. So maybe setting an intention today around that to alchemize that. Yeah, August was intense. Yes, promoting the individual self. I would say that's a core of my work. Who Marie Kondo, you can Google her. Virgo moon, yes, you probably love a little spring cleaning as well, then, my friend. Okay, yeah. Okay. Whew. Thanks for checking in, you guys. I always love to just connect and I'm going to just share just a couple of notes for today, and then we're going to get into a really beautiful activation. A couple of things. Some of the things that I said, I want to just clarify from yesterday. When I talk about being in healing loops or being overly identified or really identified in any way that doesn't serve you with your patterns or with modalities, or like when I talk about the one of my teachers calls this the swamp, right, that you can get into where we're actually being kept apart from the true healer, which is the soul, which is the essence. It's not to say that healing modalities aren't helpful or necessary in many cases, okay? I just want to be really, really clear about that. These are tools that deeply, deeply benefit us, right? And they're here for a reason. But again, it's in the awareness of how we're engaging with the tool, right? The truth of our essence is that it is whole, perfect, and complete. And sometimes, because of the way that trauma and certain things will fracture the connection to that wholeness, and will cause, rips or tears in our field, or will, right? Like, it's not to say that we aren't whole still, because in my opinion, we always are. But it is to say that there are mechanisms in which we forget that wholeness. And that's part of us, like being here in general. There's a microcosm of that, and there's a macrocosm of that. And so reconnecting with the lost, they're never truly lost, aspects of our soul is beneficial. Integration work is beneficial. Trauma resolution work is beneficial. Soul retrieval work is beneficial. And it's necessary in very many cases in order to really come home to the self. But it is very important to keep in mind, what is the goal of all of those things? Where is all of this healing taking us? Who is the true healer? Because we can get caught. And this has happened to me, and this is why I've been speaking to it over these 2 days. Is this resonating with you guys, and does this make sense? It's important to me that you get this and that you get that I'm not trash talking it or saying don't do it. I'm saying to be aware and to choose. And when you come to a place where some of these tools might not be needed in the same way anymore, be willing to let them go. Okay? Makes sense. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Yeah, getting stuck. Okay, resonating. Thank you. I went through this initiation where my favorite healing modality stopped working. My biggest initiation followed and my gifts came online. That is a very common story, my friend. And this can happen in many realms. It doesn't have to be. I know a lot of you are big shadow workers or have been big shadow workers. This can also be like if you're healing the physical body. And it's like, a common story. One of my other mentors is like, she started out as a health coach. And, it's like nutrition. She learned like to be, she's like a naturopath, right? Naturopathic nutrition or something. I don't want to, I don't remember exactly, but like worked in nutrition, right? So like prescribing supplements and dietary stuff and like, detox protocols and all this stuff. And it's like it works up to a certain point and it works and it works and it's cool and it works. And then it fucking stops working. Why? Because there's something else. And it was the same story for her. She actually downloaded her own insanely powerful form of energy work, insanely powerful healing modality, and became like, I mean, she's one of the most powerful channels that I've ever met in this lifetime. And what she came to was that for her, it was about coming into the soul as the healer, right? And this won't happen for everyone because sometimes um, those modalities you're meant to heal through them and teach them to others and fully be like, you know, a representative of them. And that's okay. But in those even in those circumstances, um, and really I want to credit her, Christina Rice, for this concept that she gave to me actually. But it's like you're choosing from your soul essence to plug into those things or to participate in those things. And so it's a different frequency from which you're choosing the thing. Does that make sense? And it's like if you guys are here, I'm just going to go ahead and trust that since this is coming through my vessel to share, you're like ready for this, you know? Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. I'm so glad you guys are getting it. You're resonating. Okay. Good to know. And if you're not resonating and you're not, commenting or you're watching the replay or whatever, just know that it might resonate down the line. you know, it might be for you. And that's with everything over these 2 days. It's like it might be for you kind of like at a later time, right? So, but here's the thing, the same way that we might fracture due to trauma, and we have different elements of our personality that we could call parts of self, and we have elements of our subconscious like inner children and this type of thing, that you guys get that concept, right? We also have multidimensional elements of our essence. I see all of these things. I don't even like to use the, like, you see that I'm putting quotes around the word fractured because I don't even actually like to use that term anymore because I don't see it that way. Because I genuinely perceive like the self to be whole always. I genuinely perceive myself to be whole always. But it's like I see these elements of us as extensions of the self that we might be more connected to or less connected to, right? The same way as we have these at a certain frequency within the subconscious, at other frequencies, we have multidimensional elements of our essence. We also have past life elements of us. These are also extensions of our soul. And we might have angelic elements of us. Many of you have, many of you are like angelic beings. We have galactic elements of ourselves. Many incarnations on planet and off planet in different realms, in elven realms, in fairy realms, in mermaid realms, in Lemuria, in Atlantis, on the Pleiades, on Arcturus, on Andromeda, on the moon, on planets and in star systems that no one has ever fucking heard of. And the convergence point is the here and now in this lifetime, in this embodiment. You have the power to become aware of all of it. And to choose which extension you'll tap into at any given moment. Does this make sense? Many of these extensions of your essence contain very powerful gifts, very powerful medicine, incredible remembrances, profound frequencies that are yours to transmit, to enjoy, and to embody first and foremost for you, but also to transmit to the collective here. And it is such a joy to connect with and to come home to those extensions of your essence. You are not just who you think you are in this embodiment, in this lifetime. I am Julia, and I spoke yesterday about how I want to be the most Julia I can possibly Julia. Right? I am also a high priestess of light, a star priestess. I am also a Pleiadian bringer of light to this planet. I am also a sonic priestess of Lemuria. I'm also an Atlantean healer. I'm also a keeper of the codes of Mary Magdalene. I am also daughter of the dragons. I am also a keeper of the divine flame of the Christ. I am also representative of Sophia, the Divine Mother, Gaia. I am also Hathor. I'm also Isis. I'm also a fairy. I'm also an elven priestess. Do you see? And many people might hear that and think, this woman is insane. I don't care. I'm also so much more than all of that because I am also the one. But these are fractals of my essence. These are variations of the one, extensions of the one, I should say, that feed into my extension, my embodiment, that I get to choose to be and transmit. These are pieces of my authentic soul blueprint, my authentic essence. Where is that coded? How do I access that? And I know everyone's like, well, how do I access? I want to know my starseed origins and what I'm connected to. By the way, I don't really read starseed origins that often, and so I can recommend people who are like experts in that. I'm not an expert in galactic history, so to speak, but it does come through my channel for individuals, right? When I'm doing things like soul brilliance reading, but it's like, oh, where is it going with that? I can't remember. I don't even remember what I was saying. Okay. Okay, it's because I'm supposed to read comments now. All right. Um, love the different aspects of our soul essence and can relate so much. Want a white dragon. That's because you already have one, Chanel. Set the intention to connect with my fairy queen essence, connect with the fairies of the light, express the fairy world I have within, create from it, live like it, LOL. Yes. Set the intention with this collective for my soul contract for this painful timeline with my partner and the kids to come to a close, and for the whales, dolphins, and Mama Ocean to provide everything I need and the new timeline where so much love, abundance, joy, and service leads the way. Yes, whales, dolphins, and Mama Ocean, and your Syrian guides, my friend. You were speaking to our full multidimensionality. Yeah. Okay, so where does all of that live? That's where I wanted to come back to. But I was supposed to tell Chanel that she has a white dragon. Um, it's all coded in your DNA. It is like, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can describe this. It's like we're all a supercomputer, the most intelligent computer. It's like divine intelligence. The divine intelligence of your essence is so insanely impressive and powerful. Like, I cannot express. So you can think of it like a computer and you are coded, you have these lines of code. If you are like unfamiliar with like that word or like that world and like technology, like that actually might be a good metaphor for you because it's like, wow, there's so much that I like. It's so impressive because I don't understand it, if that makes sense, right? But there's other metaphors you could use, right? Like a snowflake, a fingerprint. It is incredibly unique. Your architecture, your divine architecture. And when you really see and experience that, it's like that type of creation, the intricacy of it, the specificity of it. Not only does it represent the fact that you have obviously a divine purpose and mission for being exactly the way that you are, but also that you were created from love, from so much love. You were created as love. How could it not be when it was so obviously intentional? Right? And nothing is there by mistake. And so, yes, we have had all of these things, you know, that we spoke about yesterday, like all of these things, the ancestral programming, all of these templates, these interferences, all this stuff, right? But you have to know the love that created you is more powerful than all of that. Can you see that? And what I want is for you guys to feel that always. Sometimes I have this part of me that's just like so aggressive in like this is like such an authentic part of my essence in like wanting to communicate to people like this is like my essence and my love language. I'm like, you are so fucking powerful. And like if you know human design, it's my fifth line. You are so fucking loved. You are so fucking powerful. Yes, passionate. Like you are it. Like you have it. You deserve love. Like I get so aggressive. I'm like aggressively loving, aggressively supportive, aggressively encouraging. Like, but I do it for my friends too. It's like, yeah. Listen, like you you are such a motherfucking powerhouse and you know, do not have to tolerate blah blah blah. Like that's the dragon energy for sure. Yeah. That's the dragon energy. Absolutely. It's also like mother lion. Yeah, a lot of you guys have that or enjoy that or need that, right? We and like this is the thing, like your gifts, you have to understand like the unique things that you have always because like this goes back to like self-value. The unique things that you have always and the unique ways that you want to express, you might have been rejected for those things in your life. It might have been like, "Oh my God, you're too much." Right? Or it might have been like yeah, like that's stupid or that's silly. It might have triggered people in your environment. But you need to understand that there are people who are like literally just like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever in the world. Like, thank God I've been looking for this my whole life. It is medicine to them. The authentic expression of your essence is medicine to the world, and it will be medicine to the right people. Right? And once again, like authenticity has layers. This is what we've been speaking to today. This is about tapping into deeper levels of authenticity in the expression of you and a higher calibration to your authentic essence. When you're vibrating there and when you've chosen to vibrate there, once again, and this is just a reminder because I shared this yesterday, but once again, you will magnetize the people towards you. You will magnetize the situations towards you that are a match to that. And when I say they're a match to that, what I mean is they're like, oh my God, yes. You know? What I mean is like they've been waiting for that their whole lives. What I mean is like you are a salve to their soul. You are a balm to them. You are a healing element, or you are a missing puzzle piece. Because it's true, we do need each other. And we are here to impact each other, right? To exchange codes. But we can't exchange codes, and we can't fit in like these puzzle pieces for one another if we're not aligned in our authentic essence. If we're not expressing that, if we're not embodied in that, if we're not choosing to emanate that outward, we can't really do that. That makes sense? Okay. Yeah, I know you're the same way, Tanya. And I love that about you. Love that about you. Yeah, I've triggered others with my raw truth. You got my attention when you mentioned my strong expression can be medicine for others. That's right. That's right. Just got to say, I was noticing my own essence brilliance in my sight being expressed in yesterday's call and seeing how clearly and obviously I was noticing your activator energy. Yes, you have such a brilliance in your sight. It's so incredible. And that's one of those gifts that it's quite possible that when you're younger in this lifetime, and certainly in other lifetimes, you know, a lot of these gifts too, it's like other lifetimes, yeah, you were literally killed for it. So, yeah, there might be some stuff, there's some resistance in fully embodying it, right? Or like in this lifetime, like that sight, sometimes it will make people uncomfortable. And when we are in a position where we are needing connection with people as we're developing because we're dependent on their on them for our survival, like, yeah, we're gonna learn to see that as something that's a threat or not okay, and we're going to shut it down to a certain extent. You can't really make it ever go away fully, but people shut down these. Raise your hand or like type in the chat if you feel like you've ever shut down your gifts that were already activated, right? Or diminished them or hidden them, right? Still do. Okay. Hands up. Yes. Thank you. Yes. For sure. Yeah. Oh my God. See, this is like actually making me emotional because that's so many of you. You get to choose today inside of this container of this event not to do that anymore. And I understand because I did the same thing, and I have deep compassion. And if you need to continue to do that, if you want to choose that, or if you need to choose that to continue to do that moving forward, it's okay. But I need you to know that you get to choose not to do that if you are still doing that. Some of you who raised your hand aren't doing that anymore. Some of you might be doing it to a certain extent, but not to the extent that you used to. You're kind of all over the map with this when I look at the energy. But again, with something like the gift of sight, you know, speaking to the person who commented, there are people who will like be liberated by that gift. And that word choice is important because it's like, yes, we're talking about like people might love it, people might be a match to it, but like you have to understand like your gifts, whatever they are, have the power to liberate human beings. They have the power to. I don't, some of you are going to take this and make it mean responsibility. Don't do that before I say this. But you have the power to save people's lives. With these gifts. When I say change the world, that's too vague for a lot of you to connect to. You have the power to liberate souls with these gifts. Mm-hmm. Yes, let that sink in. I'm glad that's sinking in. $33, yeah. It's important not only for your liberation, which I care about so much, and it's always for you first. Your gifts are for you first. Your essence is for you first. When we're talking about embodying your soul essence, we're talking about your liberation. But it is also your service to the world. It's also your impact on others. And you will impact others. And so it's like, yes, there will be those who will be triggered the more and the more and the more that you step into that. And that gets to be a process that takes whatever pace it needs to take for you. But this is also about your divine service. And service is not burden. Service is not responsibility. I love responsibility because I feel a different frequency behind it than most of you do. Because a lot of you, the reason why I said that is because a lot of you feel a really heavy frequency around the word responsibility. It's not what it actually means. It is like service is like the highest joy of living. Some of you just don't know that yet. Some of you do. But it is also that, like, that is also the purpose. That is also why we're here. You see? Yes, so just going to ask about making the journey about ourselves. It is 11:11. Look at that. It is about you first, and it is also about others. As one wise master once famously said, love your neighbor as thyself. It's both. Because when you connect to the love that you just are that. And so naturally, you emanate that, you radiate that, you give that, and you receive that. And it does not take effort to give or receive. Some of you have a lot of, wow, some of you have a lot of heaviness attached to the word give. It's like, wow, it's really interesting on a frequency level. Like you have a lot of efforting behind giving. You associate it with effort and strain, which is really interesting to see. I would invite you to feel into how your giving could, in fact, be effortless. You can even substitute a different word. Some of you will have to substitute a different word. Overflowing. Outpouring. What if instead of giving, you were outpouring? Right? Yeah, I do. Yeah. And it makes sense because you asked that question, right? Still detoxing from overgiving. Yeah, overflowing. And so sometimes people need to really, really focus more on self, 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 for a while. But ultimately, like, it's not self or other. There's not really a distinction. Ultimately, like, in your highest expression of your essence, like, you're just flowing love. It flows in, it flows out, it flows in, it flows out, it flows in, it flows out. It dances here, it dances there. It does what the energy wants to do. It's natural, right? So some are resonating with outpouring, some are resonating with overflowing. Feel into it for yourself. You can also ask for a word for yourself, you know? Okay, some of you are hung up on what your gifts are. We're not really, so like, this is something that I can better define for people, like in a soul brilliance reading, or if you join Conduit or something like this. But it's when I feel into the frequency of like the questions that are being asked, the mind is getting hung up on the doing. And the doing is the thing. And I have to figure out what my doing is. And that's not why we're here today. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Oh, thanks for the rec on the soul brilliance reading. Yeah. We are here because it's not about the doing. It's not about the identity that we attach to. And this might come out in all kinds of ways. I am and it's like, even I for sure get hung up in this and have gotten hung up in this. I am a DNA activator. I am a speaker. I am a teacher. I am a mentor. I am a leader. I am a coach. I am a healer. I am a Reiki master. I am a woman. I am a this. I am a that, right? These things can all be pieces of our essence, but they can also just be labels, and they can be boxes. And your soul is bigger than any doing. And so it's not that we won't have identifications or we won't use labels. Like, those are useful. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are useful in the construct that we're all living in. We're all existing within this construct, right? I know your mind doesn't like it. That's why I'm like, yes. Um, and that's okay. Your mind doesn't have to like it. That's a piece of this too, is it's like your mind will want to hook into all kinds of things. Your mind will want to go all kinds of places. Your mind will want to attach to all kinds of things. And it's doing its job, you know? And it's like, okay, but it gets to be like, okay. And as Ra likes to say, you get to be like, go sit down somewhere. He likes to say that one. Go sit down somewhere. I hear you. You don't have to go where it's taking you though. Like you don't have to choose that. You get to choose to come back to your beingness. Okay. Yeah. All right. So it is time at this point to do the activation. So, gosh, I'm always like, I'm like, oh, today's going to be shorter. I just talk and talk. Um, yes, we're ready for the activation. So we're going to take a quick break again, just a couple minutes. Thank you so much for the love in the comments about the rapid shift session as well. Soul Brilliance reading followed up with a rapid shift session. Bang, boom. Few of you have done that, but it's a great combo. Yeah. So just a couple minutes and then we'll do the activation. I'll see you guys in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Please make yourself comfortable. Either sitting comfortably and closing your eyes, or lying down. Just letting your body sink into the surface you're sitting or lying down on. Letting yourself fully land in your body. Once again, there's been a lot of energy so far on the call. So just like noticing how you're feeling, and you can also practice just setting the intention to release any energy that isn't yours or that you don't need to be carrying or absorbing right now. Weraran ayen yer arkuimarash. Ken yera ayen inkuim. Just gently, just effortlessly feeling it go back and reorganize to wherever is in its highest interest to go. Kuishkan koyara an ayim or on uim. Yar ayana ayen akang. And settling into your body, your space, calling all parts of you back home to your body now, all of your energy back home to your body now. There's a lot of Lemurian energy that I was feeling before the call that's in the field right now. There are codes from Mount Shasta and beings in Mount Shasta that are participating here in this. We're working on the sacral here, and the Lemurians are and the beings of Mount Shasta are incredibly excited and celebratory. This is like a frequency of like a homecoming and such a celebration that and acknowledgement that you are coming home to your true selves, that you are remembering your true selves. We are. And the energy of the mountain, the energy of the frequency, the frequency of the mountain, rooting you into that true self, this sturdiness. Come home. It's like an invitation. Come home. We are returning the sacred jewel to your sacral center, the sacred center. We are me. I me. Your power to create. Uyashka Ainorin Ayomein Ayangain Ayanekum Uyanain Ayaoin Ayakain Yashkainai Yeah, and we're also just releasing gently. Wishkani erin. Anything that is disresonant with what you are truly here to create. And for some of you also, recreate, resurrect from some of these ancient timelines, these knowings that you possess. Oinai. This is also opening you up to the connection to the people and places and things that are of like resonance with your essence. Which they're saying is always indistinguishable from your purpose. Oenuri ara anirin. Ayan yakae muri ara anurekum. Numiyor mikumiaran. Kayemare aran ayem yokum. Yokueraran. Kayemi aran. Kayem yokeyem amekum. full realignment and upgrade of all of your energy centers. Come home to your heart. Come home to the truth that you remember. Activating ancient remembrances, ancient rememberings now in your cells and DNA. Nawu onen ayana ayakim kuye nake nayem yeke nashkareke maye nekem. This is also dragon DNA activating for many of you. Kayen yekem kanem yekem ayem yekem anem arem. Koni ore rashka reshka nayene arin anan ayener. Kuyara even deeper into the heart here, where there is a cave. Inside of this cave are the ancient remembrances of who you really are. And the gifts that you brought with you into this incarnation. Namae. Umayo ki he arom ae no akine oen anare ki e na ku a ko ke he a hae ni ano e on ko ki Ayani oim anari anherin rayami ayane maya keim akeim 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 he ayu kain kayon akeyon akeyon he ayu ayin ayon akeyon akeyon. Activating very high frequency key codes here. This is like an integration of these very high frequency expressions of you that exist on planes where there's far less density into the physical body. They may sometimes these energies may come in through your crown, or your upper energy centers. Always bringing that down into the heart. And joining it with the elements of your essence that are more physical. So that all can be balanced in perfect harmony. And the heart plays the chord. That harmonizes. Oerara naimo. Yonki ashkarayan inkar. Kayim yorin arkoimir. Ana kain arkoimir. Yararai kana an ayin arkoish kuri an ayim kara ankoim. We're just actually doing some timeline work here. Pulling back. How do I put this? Yashkar kayina an ayin an ankoim. Maybe it's not so important. Yashkar kayemo ore in ana an kayinar kanan an yar an ena aran kayin arkan kayem arkan ena arkuir an kuri ashkar kanira an. All parts of your essence, all incarnations that you are meant to or need to be connected to for your purpose and mission here. Aligning on the same path, on the same trajectory, the same timeline. And aligning your body, in your energy field in the here and now. Also with that timeline. Kashkarkan aimaran ema yanarakin kin kurin yan. Kayam yukema arkoimir ashkoreshkan kaimurin uri kunin aimurin ori koin are enkoinir kana ain enkoinir ari ain enkoinir ira kanin ain yoko orin arin ain urko. Ayan Kuma. Remember Reina Inayuana Arinik. Remember who you are. Nai mo yoshoro sho. Nyaranai. Norea. Haya kar kaima anik kana ashkar kaim urin anim. Neara kaim norimanan. Wenuri nayana kar 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 yanana. Oe iara shkara an koima. Noe uri an kaime ara un urina shkara ani inan. Nyanara shkaino ronyana kaima inan. Nyari kaime ana kara inan. Rayan urim, ara urim, ara karam, kakena urin, ian aran, kakena urin, koam aran, kakena urin, mayo. Just taking a moment here to notice your state. Bring your consciousness to your breath and your body. And if you need to just be here, just remain here, letting it continue to work on you. please feel free to do that because it will continue to work on you. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of the energies and beings who were present and helped facilitate this activation, this healing today. And taking a moment as well to thank everyone and everything that made it possible for us to be here together today. How miraculous in this moment. Including our beautiful selves and our higher selves who chose to show up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you are coming back, just gently when you're ready, wiggling fingers and toes, circling wrists and what are those things called? Ankles. Have to human now. And opening your eyes. No, LOL. Yeah, it's just weird. It's like sometimes I know some of you are gonna relate, but sometimes like I go into an element of my essence that is more multidimensional. And then it's like I come back to Julia and I'm like, what is fork? Like yeah. So freaking peaceful. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I really enjoyed what came through today. And the thing is, it's like I never know. Some of you guys might already know this, but I never plan what I'm going to say at these events. And I certainly never plan what comes through in an activation. It is an expression of my soul, and it's also just, it is the way that energy wants to move through my being and affect this. So it takes a certain level of surrender, quite a high mastery of surrender, if I'm really being honest, to be able to bring that through. And it takes a lot of trust, you know? It also takes like the appropriate boundaries in terms of like setting the containers to make sure that you know what we're surrendering to and what we're bringing through is like really the thing, and that that's honored. And this is what we work with in Conduit, for you to be able to actualize that experience with your own medicine. Experience so much heat towards the end. That's really great. That's heat is always such a great sign. It's the release. Sometimes it's activation too, actually. I'm actually getting that for you. That might be more activation. Thank you so much, Julia. You're welcome, love. Feel very peaceful and full of light now. Mid activation, I had the impulse to go outside in the yard to sit in the direct sunlight. Beautiful. That is probably codes and nourishment that you need. I saw your comment about Mount Shasta. I'm loving the telepathy of that and the frequency wave alignment. Yeah, I was meditating this morning and just doing what I do every morning with like the energy work that I do, and Mount Shasta came through really strongly, and all of these Lemurian beings were like, we're really going to want to collab today. Yeah, it's so funny. That's how I feel always. Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense for you. If you're a walk-in soul, you might feel that way always. I am a pile of peaceful goo. Yeah, what is fork? So funny. Tiny trident for human? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So deep today. I felt so too. Again, after this activation, I'm thinking about making YouTube videos immediately. But do you see then how when you drop into your when you're connected to your authentic essence, when you're connected to just like that frequency, because that's the intention of these activations, actions will drop in, things will drop in, your life force will kind of activate towards certain things, meaning like you'll feel that like, oh, I want to do that. Or you might have inspiration drop in that's like, you know, your next step for maybe an expression of the mission, right? An expression of what you're here to do. But that comes really naturally when you're connected to your essence. I feel like I just got a 2 hour deep tissue massage. Me too, girl. That was just lovely. That's how I experienced it too. Can't shake this feeling that I'm meant to bring awareness to certain spiritual teachings. Well, there's probably reason for that. Yes, and you are so welcome to both of you. Thank you. We joined towards the end today, but I feel like the activation from yesterday has just been working all day. Yes, it will do that at times. Sleepy and peaceful, beautiful. Part of me wants to take a nap. Part of me would love to go to Mount Shasta. Maybe consider going there someday if you feel called. You know, these places contain activation codes, and Mount Shasta is a really important place for the grids. Very important. It's a very important portal, and it is an important place for a lot of light workers and beings to travel to. I've been there multiple times, but I think I might need to go back at some point soon. As I'm still called to move through some very challenging things these days, I'd been asking for more connection to light. Got the message that there is more than enough always, actually. Yes, 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 yes. There is always more than enough. And this is true of all of those things that it's like we feel disconnected to from, you know what I mean? Light, love, whatever the thing is. Abundance is the truth. Everything else is a distortion. And when you're connected to your true essence, you get that. You see that, you live that, you express that, and you experience that. Craving coconut water. Good. Yeah, definitely. Coconut water is actually great. I know you know this, but just for everyone, for the minerals and like whatever it's got in it, magnesium, potassium, right? And the electrolytes. Another great choice would be like any kind of electrolyte. Um, I use Element electrolyte powder, but there's other like choices for electrolytes, but like I think coconut water is such a wonderful natural electrolyte. And it's also delicious. So great. Yeah. So welcome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can ask these places too, like, you know, like someone wrote here. You can ask these places too sometimes, like show me how to get there or open the way. And sometimes you'll it's like really cool things will happen if you're just open. Like people will invite you somewhere, you'll get invited randomly to like a wedding or something like that. Cave on a ledge there activated. Yeah, in dream time. Beautiful. Yeah, you're so welcome, you guys. I love you. And yeah, you know, if you feel like you're crawling to get to your essence, feeling low, slow and heavy, that's okay for you to be there. You know, I want you to know again, like what I'm able to embody today is a product of a deep and winding journey. And while I 100% believe that miracles can happen overnight, and I've seen it happen with this work specifically, I have seen miracles happen overnight in my own life and in the lives of others. Also, sometimes it takes 10 years to get to a miracle moment. That's been my experience. And where you are is always perfect. I'm glad you brought your babies in. That's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how to describe in human language like how much it has meant to me to be able to do this transmission over the last couple of days and be received in it. It has felt like such an important and fun and beautiful expression of my soul. And something that's, yeah, I just, important is the word. It's felt really important to me. And really special. And so I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, from the cave of my heart, and extend so much love from the cave of my heart and its endless well of light to yours, for choosing to be here with me, for choosing to be on planet Earth with me at this time. It be cray cray in here, and you guys chose to come back and light this place up from the inside out with me. And you chose to be here in third dimensional, you know, time and space. And that means the world to me. This is the greatest honor of my life to be able to do this work with people like you. And such a deep joy. It's ghetto up in here. We are strong. Yeah. Yeah, and we have each other. And we have so much at our disposal. We have the light. We have the light of our own soul. What else do you need? Now, some of you will have experiences after this event where different things will come online for you. Certain things will line up in your reality. Sometimes certain things may crumble in your reality. It's all for your highest and best. Certain gifts may start opening up. You may start doing a little bit of what I was doing, or you may start doing something else like drawing symbols, or you might be called to visit certain places or whatever. Listen to where you're being led next. Listen to the guidance within, and your journey will unfold perfectly from here. But we have lined up to a very specific timeline. You guys are now on a very different timeline than you were when you came in to this event. Nourish yourselves. Once again, ask what it is you need to integrate and give yourself that. Now, if you are feeling called to deeper work with me, we have the options that I mentioned on the call yesterday, which are beautiful, beautiful options to dive in and continue to experience some of this work with me and be connected to me. But if you're like really drawn, like you're at a point in your life where you know that it's time to go deeper into your power, into your leadership, into your divine service, into the expression of what you're really here to do and who you're really here to be and how you came to affect the planet. And you want to deepen into that. And you know that you need space and witnessing and a powerful activation and container to assist you in doing that. Or if you know, so like that would be the mentorship space. If you're like, there is something with Julia where it's like there's a contract, there's a deep thing where she's meant to guide me to my next place. She's meant to open me up to my leadership, my power, my gifts, you know, the relationships that are meant for me, the money that's meant for me, the timeline that's meant for me, whatever. And you really feel that, and you want that focused, individualized, one-on-one attention. Deep dive. This is deep dive work. This is deep work. There are 3-month, 6-month, and 9-month options that I actually have available currently. But I want to tell you, I also am available to work with people on, and it's not work with people like, well, name your price and I'll just do that. It's like to feel into, and for me to really connect with the highest guidance around like what is most beneficial for you. I'm open to doing that. That also works for me, like what's aligned. I'm also open to doing that. So, you know, I have set containers, but if it doesn't work for you for whatever reason, because these are high ticket, these are high level, because it's a high level of support. And because the high amount of the investment, some people look at my prices for one-on-one and they're like, well, that makes no sense. And it also, like, it makes no sense. And this is also, I'm describing this not just for you guys to know about my work, but because for some of you, a lot of you actually, you're meant to help people in this way, or you already are helping people in this way. And it's important that you understand how containers and pricing works, because it's about the energy, right? So, and I also, you know, teach this and help guide people through like resistances and blocks to this when we're working one-on-one, right? On business stuff. But the container is set up in a particular way to have a particular energy, and the investment is a piece of that. So some people look at the higher level stuff, higher ticket, you know, one-to-one stuff, and they're like, that makes no sense because a session is X amount. And then if you add in these other like pieces of what you're offering, in my mind, logically, it doesn't make sense. And like, why would you charge that much? Because it's reflective of, not just reflective of, it is the amount that holds the energy of the transformation. It's the amount that holds the energy. So currently my set rate for one-on-ones, and you get bonuses like at each length of time commitment, is $18.88 a month. However, I'm well aware that for some people, the energy of that investment with where they're currently at and their relationship to money and their current reality and their relationship to what's happening physically, that might feel out of range for them. And that's okay. I totally honor that, right? Also, it can be something that you step into to expand and stretch and move into that. And so I say that because even though it might trigger some of you, it also can activate you. So even just considering stepping in at that amount might be important. And for some of you, there are adjustments that might be in alignment to make with the container. No promises though, because some people will come to me and it's like, actually, it's this or nothing, or actually, we're not aligned to work together or whatever. Because see, the thing is, I am interested. I don't care about like anything except for what is in the highest alignment. So it's about feeling into what's in highest alignment for you, right? Okay. So that's the one-on-ones. You can always reach out and contact me with questions. We can get on a call, we can chat about it. I love to do that because it's a sacred exchange, you know? It's a really sacred journey. So it's really important that it's the right fit, right? Really important. Conduit. I don't know. I think there's maybe one or two of you who were on Conduit. My excitement. Conduit is oh my God. It's its own whole fucking thing. Conduit is a force. It is a container that will transform your life and transform you into the powerful creator that you are and will assist you in birthing your modality. It is an extremely sacred and transformational experience. It is a 6-month program and it will initiate you into your medicine and into your multi-dimensional healing method or modality. It will initiate you into that. Now, we cover things like psychic protection, space clearing, invocations, boundaries, right? We cover things like surrender, allowing the energy. We practice. There are activations, you know, but it's like all of this stuff about like, you know, how we relate to our gifts and the mind coming in. We covered, you know, the different elements of ego and mind that come in, the subconscious projections and shadow parts, the resistances to coming forward with the gifts, the resistances to trusting, the programming, the gaslighting that disallows us from trusting our unique gifts in medicine and allowing it to come through our embodiment. We cover embodiment, you know, in the ways that it's meant to. If you feel called, I would love to have you. We open in October, we start in October, but enrollment opens now. So before I forget, I am going to leave this in the chat. So that you can check it out. And there are payment plans available. So check it out. Yeah, and you can reach out to me about any of these offerings or any offerings I've shared. I would love to have any of you and all of you in my world at whatever capacity. And if our journey ends here, I am so grateful that you chose to show up and just receive. And it is so okay. When in October, probably the first week, but it also depends on enrollments. And I haven't really checked in with the energy because this is how I work it is like I have to check in really strongly with like when the energy is wanting to materialize. Okay. Once again, thank you. I love you with all my heart. And we will meet again and again and again across many landscapes in the frequency of love and remembrance. Love you guys too. Take really great care, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.